Okay. I appreciate you saying that. Thanks. Okay. All right. What is your name? Cheryl. Oh, yes, yes. Public records request, right? Yeah, it's not definitive, the timeline to when you get back to somebody after you acknowledge them. Yeah, I mean, they should be doing that. Hey, we received. Don't say that. I appreciate you saying that.
Yes. This lady here keeps saying that her rights are being infringed, and she wants to. She said the sheriff is just.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
We dealt with it last year.
buddy, okay, we're gonna. A little late. By 5 minutes. Okay, everyone, would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please stand for the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. And if you would please stand, we want a moment of silence for Jan Solomon, who was the Trumbull County Fair Board Director. She was there 30 years on the board, and she was in charge of the junior fair kids. A very great loss for the Trumbull County Fair. Moment of silence, please. Thank you. Okay, our next public workshop will be held on Tuesday, April 1st. That's at 10:30 a.m. in this meeting room. And the next regular meeting will be held here on Wednesday, April 2nd at 10:30 a.m. Madam Clerk, roll please.
Mr. Bernard,
Here.
Mr. Malloy,
Here.
Mr. Hernandez.
Here.
Item number 1 is to dispense with reading the minutes of the workshop session dated March 18th, 2025, and the regular meeting dated March 19th, 2025, and accept and approve the video recordings of both meetings as the official meeting minutes.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item number 2 is to approve the bills.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item number 3 is to approve the annual appropriation resolution to provide for the current expenses and other expenditures of Trumbull County during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025 for the General Fund 001 and all other funds 002 through 995 of Trumbull County.
Motion to approve?
Second that?
Question on the motion. This has been a long, hard process for this board and it's been difficult, but you know what? We have to do with the funds that are presented us. And I think we've done a pretty good job with what we had to work with.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
And going along with that last motion, if I could, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion from the floor that we move the amount of $349,723.56 from fund number 921-130-1100-1100-1 into the general fund so that everything does balance to zero in our budget for the year.
I second the motion.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item number 4 is to establish the creation of the GIS Enterprise Fund to be known as Fund Number 081 for use by the Trumbull County Auditor's Office. Geographic Information System Enterprise is a geographically integrated system that allows organizations to manage, collaborate, and use spatial data and related map information.
Dies. Commissioners, that dies for lack of a second.
Item number 5 is to establish the creation of the Auditor's Office Computer Service Fund to be known as Fund Number 750 for use by the Trumbull County Auditor's Office. This fund is a way to allocate resources for computer-related services such as technical support and consultation services, software licenses, hardware maintenance, and data processing.
No, so
Okay, that dies for lack of a second.
lack of a motion. There wasn't a motion, so it's not a second. So
Okay.
lack of a
No
motion.
motion.
Item number 6 is to adopt a resolution proclaiming the month of April 2025 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Trumbull County, Ohio, in conjunction with National Child Abuse Prevention Month. April marks the 20th anniversary of National Child Abuse Prevention Month and the 20th Annual Pinwheels for Prevention event. The special note to promote community cooperation, Children's Services will hold their annual Pinwheels for Prevention on Tuesday, April 1st, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. by planting 1,302 pinwheels at Warren G. Harding High School.
Motion to approve?
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to read the motion, or I'm sorry, read the resolution that we would like to present at the pinwheel ceremony. And this will be presented on April 1st. A resolution by the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners in honor of National Child Abuse Prevention Month, 20th Annual Pinwheels for Prevention, April 1st, 2025. Whereas the National Committee for the Prevention of Child Abuse has designated April as National Child Abuse Prevention Month. And whereas Pinwheels for Prevention is a campaign to bring awareness to child abuse and neglect in communities across Ohio. And whereas every child should be protected, loved, and feel safe in their home and community. And whereas during National Child Abuse Prevention Month and all throughout the year, the Board of Commissioners encourages all citizens to work together to safeguard our children, help prevent child abuse, and strive toward the hope that every child may experience a safe and happy childhood. And whereas this board does hereby acknowledge that the month of April shall be designated as National Child Abuse Prevention Month in Trumbull County. Therefore, be it resolved on April 1st, 2025 at 1:30, Trumbull County Children's Services will kick off National Child Abuse Prevention Month with their 20th annual Pinwheels for Prevention ceremony by planting 1,302 pinwheels at the Warren G. Harding High School. Each pinwheel represents one report of child abuse or neglect in 2024 and is a means to enlighten citizens of the abuse endured by children in Trumbull County, and encourage their support to hurting families so that all forms of child maltreatment can be prevented. Signed by our Board of Commissioners. And Marilyn, our hopes with this is someday we have that ceremony with 0 pinwheels in the ceremony. So thank you for all that you do, and we look forward to joining you on April 1st.
Is there anybody here representing?
Yes.
We should take a
Yes.
picture here, ma'am.
Sure.
Could you please?
You can take that. Because I think she's- Continue. Item number 7 is to approve the personnel action for the employment of Miss Heidi Gross as an eligibility referral specialist number 2 with the Trumbull County Department of Job and Family Services, effective Monday, March 31st, 2025. Ms. Gross will be paid $20.05 per hour with full county benefits and will serve a 9-month probationary period.
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item number 8 is to approve the promotion of Ms. Melissa Binion as Fiscal Administrator, non-bargaining employee with the Trumbull County Department of Job and Family Services, effective April 1st, 2025. Ms. Binion will be paid $38.30 per hour with full county benefits. She will be required to serve a 9-month probationary period.
Motion to-
approve?
I'll second that.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item number 9 is to authorize on behalf of the Trumbull County Department of Job and Family Services the agreements per list dated March 19th, 2025. The agreements create 23 training opportunities and 7 job opportunities at a total cost of $218,735.21, fully funded through Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act allocations with no county general funds requested.
Motion to approve?
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item number 10 is to authorize the Board of Commissioners to join with the Trumbull County Prosecuting Attorney to file an application with the Court of Common Pleas for the appointment of Attorney Jeffrey Stankunas and the law firm of Isaac Wiles as legal counsel for Trumbull County Engineer David DeCristofaro to provide legal advice and representation relative to the defense of a state personal board of review claim filed by Maria Diggs. This will be paid for by the Trumbull County Engineers Department, and in the note, Attorney Stankunas will provide legal counsel and representation at the rate of $2.25 per hour.
Motion to approve?
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item number 11 is to approve the consultant agreement modification number 38499-1 with DLZ Ohio, Inc. for the TRU West Market Street Bridge Rehabilitation, Project ID 114332. This is an Ohio Department of Transportation prepared agreement modification between the county and the consultant, which results in no net adjustment. Transportation block grant received by the County Engineer's Office through the Eastgate Regional Council of Governments, which will fund 80% of the engineering costs and be direct pay.
Motion to approve?
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item number 12 is to award all bids submitted for the purchase of bituminous materials for use by the Trumbull County Engineer for the period of April 1st, 2025 through March 31st, 2026, and to enter into a contract with each company listed for all materials which the companies bid.
Motion to approve?
I'll second that.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item number 13 is to award all bids submitted for the purchase of asphalt concrete, high-performance cold mix, and asphalt emulsion CMS-2S for use by the county engineer for the period of April 1st, 2025 through March 31st, 2026, and to enter into a contract with each company listed for all materials which the companies bid.
Motion to approve?
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item 14 is to award the lowest responsive and responsible bid as submitted by U.S. Bridge Division of the Ohio Bridge Corporation for the TRU County Highway 290D York Street Green Number 19 Bridge Rehabilitation Project located in Green Township in the amount of $152,212.25, funded at 100% by a bridge funding program grant received through the County Engineers Association of Ohio, which will be direct pay, and to enter into a contract with U.S. Bridge Division of the Ohio Bridge Corporation for said project.
Motion to approve?
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item 15 is to award the lowest responsive and responsible bid as submitted by U.S. Bridge Division of the Ohio Bridge Corporation for the TRU TH 84 Hewitt Gifford Road, Lordstown Number 19 Bridge Rehabilitation Project located in the village of Lordstown and Warren Township in the amount of $189,947.82, funded at 100% by a bridge funding program grant received through the County Engineers Association of Ohio, which will be direct pay, and to enter into a contract with U.S. Bridge Division of the Ohio Bridge Corporation for said project.
Motion to approve?
I'll second that.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item number 16 is to approve the memorandum of understanding between Trumbull County, Gustavus Township, and American Transmission Services, Inc. for the purpose of American Transmission Services, Inc. on behalf of First Energy, making upgrades and/or improvements to the infrastructure of the power lines along and/or across various roadways and bridges throughout Trumbull County.
Motion to approve?
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item 17 is to concur with the Trumbull County Engineer to grant the special annual supplier fleet permit requested by the company listed, Faust Leasing, Inc.
Motion to approve?
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item 18 is to concur with the county engineer to grant the special hauling permit to haul steel coils requested by the company listed, Jaro Transportation Services, Inc.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item 19 is to concur with the county engineer to grant the right-of-way permit requested by the company listed, Carrilla Contractors, Inc.
Motion to approve?
Second your motion?
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item 20 is to approve the replacement of a domestic hot water boiler at the Trumbull County Adult Justice Center. The boiler and installation will be provided by All Hours Mechanical in the amount of $38,227. The boiler serves the jail's kitchen and is necessary to supply the kitchen with the correct temperature of water for dishware sanitizing.
Motion to approve?
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item 21 is to establish the creation of Fund Number 082, Office of Economic Development Fund, for use by the Trumbull County Planning Commission. The Planning Commission is the designated Office of Economic Development in accordance with ORC 307.07A1 and is authorized to carry out all duties as the Director of Economic Development as defined in ORC Section 307.07B.
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item 22 is to approve the dedication of $94,186.59 as local match for the Transportation Improvement District application for construction at the intersection of TRU Mines Road and State Route 46. Trumbull County Transportation District received a grant last year to complete a detailed design of intersection improvements and is seeking funding this year to construct the design. The total project cost is $594,186.59, and the Transportation Improvement District is seeking grant funds in the maximum amount of $500,000.00. This would secure local match to make the application more competitive.
Motion to approve?
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item 23 is to accept and concur with the 2024 annual report and meeting minutes with the recommendations of the Tax Incentive Review Council for Trumbull County. All active agreements approved prior to December 31st, 2024 were reviewed as listed.
Go ahead and read on the bold, please.
16 enterprise zone agreements were reviewed and found to be in compliance. 15 enterprise zone agreements recommended for continuation of their agreement, and 1 enterprise zone agreement recommended for removal due to expiration of the agreed term. 7 community reinvestment area agreements were discussed. 5 found to be in compliance and 2 found to be in non-compliance. 4 recommended for continuation of their agreement, 2 recommended to be renegotiated for modification, and 1 recommended for removal due to expiration of the agreed term.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item 24 is to authorize the facilities administrator to decommission, scrap the 10 unsafe scrap vehicles listed to Metallico Youngstown. These vehicles are unfit for use due to serious disrepair and damage.
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item 25 is to authorize the facilities administrator to decommission and scrap the 10 vehicles listed to Metallico Youngstown. These vehicles are unfit for use due to serious disrepair and damage.
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item 26 is to authorize the facilities administrator to decommission, scrap the 11 unsafe scrap vehicles listed to Metallico Youngstown. These vehicles are unfit for use due to serious disrepair and damage.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item 27 is to authorize Rick Hernandez, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to sign and accept for use substantial completion, a portion of the Yankee Lake Sanitary Sewer Improvements Project, number 5-S-18, located in Yankee Lake Village, Brookfield Township, Trumbull County Combined Sewer District.
Motion to approve.
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, item number 28, I'd like to make a motion to table in regards to the thing that was discussed at our workshop yesterday about trying to find a way to exempt any type of a water increase or to that amount for homestead exemption for seniors and fixed income qualifying individuals. We met with the sanitary engineer and discussed some of the options, and we're waiting the data from the auditor as far as how many homestead exemption tax people there are, so that we, in dealing with the water rates, that we make sure that we keep in mind the fixed income and senior citizens in the county to not put any more undue burden. They had a sewer rate increase last year, and to throw water on top of it, it was a concern of Commissioner Bernard, and this was kind of his idea, and I'd like to give more time to have them reevaluate the figures, adding in that homestead exemption for seniors.
I don't disagree with the homestead exemption. I think that, there should be exempt certain criteria for those that are on fixed incomes or those that are on a homestead. However, I do want to caution the commissioners that if we do not vote on this, it could throw us into a fiscal emergency, and the state will come in for an audit. I have spoke with the attorney representing the sanitary district, and I just want the people to know that it's been 10 years since their rates have been, since they've been raised. And they're at a level that, other communities are much higher than where we are now in Trumbull. However, I will agree with you. I will agree with the fact that I think that we need to have some additional language added to this, somewhere where, there would be an exemption for those individuals. I don't know if, do you have any comment, Commissioner Bernard?
Yes, I do. I just think we need to see more cuts out at the sanitation engineers department. I've been asking for that since day one, and I haven't seen it. Haven't seen any recommendations. They keep telling me they can't cut. I'm not so sure I believe that. And I'm not ready to impose a tax rate increase on the residents of our county until I see some reductions in the cost savings out there.
Commissioner, I would ask also that over the next week, as we entertain this, that all three of us make visits out to the sanitary engineer and see the operation, take the tour. I don't know if you gentlemen have yet. I have quite a few times over the last 2 years. See the operations at work and see the areas where our money is going to, so we know firsthand what needs upgraded, what valves are where, and who's doing what out there, so we understand fully before we look on paper and critique on paper the job that they do out there and see if we see it with our own eyes, that things need cut, we can make recommendations at that time. If we don't, then we'll understand more fully before we make a vote on raising anybody's rates on anything. But I would
Well,
ask you to make the commitment that all three of us actually go there and kind of do our own self-audit ourselves.
Well, they have a comptroller on staff that's been out there. I don't know how many years he's been there. It's up to him to make recommendations to us to cut. You know, by me going out looking at a facility, that's not going to show me where the cuts should be. All right. We just need to look at the facts, you know. I'm still waiting to see why we lost $1.5 million in 2024. And I have a lot of other questions. So, you know, maybe you guys are ready to vote for an increase, but I'm not.
Yeah, I would agree with Commissioner Bernard. You know, I have been out to the sanitary district, Commissioner Malloy, and it is a very well-run, I believe it's a well-run operation. We're not going to, I don't think we're in a position to micromanage. We have very capable people that are in charge, our engineer, and I believe that, you know, we just need to get to the point to where we can make an approval where at some point, these have to be raised. We have talked about kicking the can down the road. This is just further kicking the can down the road, and it's mandated by the ORC. So the last thing we want to do to see us going to a fiscal emergency, the state come in, and then we have issues, you know, surrounding all that, you know. So I hope within the next week we could get this done because, as I said, I think we're at the end of the rope here. Come April, my understanding is that we will be in a fiscal emergency.
I know we are down 3 positions as of right now that we have not filled. And if there are more than that, I guess we can go and look at the
5.
books. Or so 5 positions now. So, yeah, we need to be able to provide the service to the residents they need. I want people testing the water. I want the chlorine tests done regularly. I want the maintenance done. I don't think we can skimp when it comes to the safety of the water that we have. And we'll look at the budget, compare it to other departments if we need to, look at other counties. Do whatever we got to do our due diligence before we vote on this.
Really quickly, I have some water rates in different areas here. Canfield at $15.94 per 1,000 gallons. Aqua is at $14.34. Girard, this comes from the sanitary district at our meeting yesterday. Girard at $20.12 per 1,000 gallons. Lordstown at $13.55. So as you can see, you know, I don't think that Trumbull County is out of line with, you know, where we're at. Keep in mind, and like Commissioner Bernard and I have said, we came in our first meeting and it was dropped in our lap that we need an increase. And, you know, I mean, you know, it should have been done incrementally over the past 10 years. So I'll leave it at that. You know, at this point, I guess we'll just
Well,
motion to table.
well, it sounds like me that you two are ready to increase it. So let's put it on and vote right now.
I'm
gonna
not
vote
ready to
no.
increase it yet until I
You know,
until I.
I'm going to
same
vote
thing.
no. So let's, you know, I'm,
Well,
Yeah.
my motion was to table it while we get more data, and I wouldn't see why you would just blanket vote no on anything.
Yeah.
But I think we need to do the
Well-
research we need to do, get the answers we want. And I don't want to be another board that kicks it down the road like the last.
well, I think
board
you were
or
part
the
of that board
before
that kicked it down there.
I was. We raised sewer rates last year. No way we're going to raise sewer
But
and
you didn't-
water in the same year. And that was something where they did do what they were told to do and combine the districts to see cost savings. They got them combined. To hit them last year with a sewer rate increase and water in the same year, I don't think it would have been fair to anybody. Should have been done 14 years ago and incrementally ever since.
And we had a comptroller out there that saw that we were in a negative for the last 4 or 5 years. And to me, I haven't seen anything where they tried to correct that.
Well, but like, again, we can either go down in history as being just like the last board and kicking it
Well,
down the road. and
you
voting no.
decided to stay with history for the last 2 or 3 years, and I'm allowed to stay with it for the next 2 or 3 months.
We can do that. I would ask that we at least do the research to see. But that's where I did a motion. The discussion constitutes a second. So let's vote on tabling it, please.
Okay, so motion to table item number 28, Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez,
Yes.
Mr. Bernard,
Do we have a second?
We
Mr.
did.
Yeah, I
Hernandez.
did, because I didn't know if you were gonna,
Okay.
Discuss.
if you were
Yeah,
gonna.
if you discuss, it constitutes a second under Robert's Rules of Orders.
I know the Roberts rules. I didn't hear him. So, I mean, I'll vote to second or to table it, but I don't see anything's going to change.
I'll move on to item 29, to adopt a resolution authorizing the execution of Amendment Number 3 to an agreement of sublease with respect to the Trumbull County Juvenile Detention Center.
Motion to approve?
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Bernard,
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes,
Item number 30 is to authorize the purchasing administrator for the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners to prepare and submit an appropriation request in the amount of $3,340,500 from the fiscal year 26 appropriation cycle for community project funding through Congressman Joyce's office on or before Friday, March 28th, 2025, for the construction of the Trumbull County Dog Kennel. The Board of Commissioners have chosen to include this project as a number 4 top priority.
Motion to approve?
Second?
A question on the motion. I'd like to commend Shara Taylor for helping us get this grant ready. We were told that a couple other agencies didn't have time to do it, and Shara, she stepped up to the plate and she got it done for us. And I just want to thank her for it. And boy, if we could luck out and get this grant, it's really important. And that's what we need to do, is start getting more grants into this county. So thank you, Shara.
and I'd like to second that, Commissioner Bernard. She did take the lead. This was a last minute, and she did apply for that grant actually yesterday. So,
I think she finished it this morning.
finished it
Yeah.
this morning.
And this is another step toward the meeting we had last Friday, of finding a place for the coroner by moving EMA, the meeting coming up with the 911 center, and now this dog pound thing. That's big steps we've made in the last 2 weeks in regards to all three of those.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes,
Item number 31 is to instruct the Director of the Trumbull County Department of Job and Family Services to order all hybrid and remote workers for the Trumbull County Department of Job and Family Services and the Trumbull County Child Support Enforcement Agency to return to full in-office work beginning Monday, April 14th, 2025.
I'll make a motion, but I thought this was something we discussed, was a director's call on that. Does this need a vote of us, Mr. Gargano?
Yes. John Gargano, Trumbull County JFS. As we discussed it yesterday, I thought back as to what happened with the other board. There was a discussion at their regular meeting with the 2 board members, and I think they made a oral motion at that time to have the workers go out and work from home. I discussed that yesterday after with Attorney Danzo from the prosecutor's office. And I indicated, that if it was done in a regular meeting and so forth, would it be okay to do that? And it was suggested that maybe we should just put it on the agenda. And I even forwarded him a copy of a letter that I received that was signed by 2 of the former commissioners, having me let them go out to work from home. And he could speak for himself, but Attorney Danzo said it thought it would be better just to make it appropriate this way.
And also, Mr. Gargano, you spoke with me about it
Yes,
yesterday also.
yes.
Right.
When I was speaking with Attorney Danzo, I just
Right.
alerted Commissioner
Bernard.
Bernard about it. You 2 gentlemen were already gone, but I just alerted him to it.
All right, so the motion on the floor to accept?
Second?
Mr.
thank you,
Malloy.
Mr. Gargano.
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes,
Okay, Madam Clerk, I'd like to make a motion to enter an executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 12122 G3. Conferences with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are subject to pending or imminent court action.
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Okay, we'll be back in a bit.
Is the attorney here? Media's here. What's the media doing here?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to reconvene from executive session pursuant to ORC 12122 G3. Conferences with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are subject to pending or imminent court action.
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Bernard,
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to enter back in executive session under ORC 12122 G1 to consider the discipline of a public employee or official or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual unless the public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual requests a public hearing.
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Bernard,
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Okay, get back in a bit.
It's right here.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to reconvene from executive session under ORC 12122 G1 to consider the discipline of a public employee or official or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public official, licensee, or regulated individual, unless the public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual requests a public hearing.
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Bernard,
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Commissioners. That concludes our regular business. We're going to move on to public comment. We are going to give you 3 minutes, as we always do.
2 minutes.
No, we're going to stay with 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, because we have done 3 minutes in the past. And please, if you want to,
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
if you'd like to make a comment, please enter the podium and give us your name and your reason for your
I've
comment.
got some more from the bench that I want to finish before we go to the public, if we could. Commissioners, next Wednesday is the Chamber of Commerce Drive-In. We've been a part of the fly-in into DC to go and lobby with the legislators, and it was very successful last year. They do have a drive-in to Columbus where they're going to be meeting with state reps and state senators. We have 4 issues right now that we're requesting funding for, and we're working with our state reps. And I wanted to see if we, as a board, wanted to participate in that next Wednesday and possibly move our meeting to Thursday in order to go to Columbus to join the Eastgate Chamber of Commerce, Port Authority, and all the economic development team for the Valley in attending these meetings for the drive-in with a show from the Valley. They're expecting 40 to 50 mayors and council people and trustees and stuff in Columbus. And I think we should have a part in that. And I would say with all the pending issues we have now, I don't know if it'd be responsible just to send one person, leave 2 to do the meeting with some of these big decisions we're making. I would like to see all 3 of us either in Columbus or make a decision in regards to that.
I have no issue with that. I would agree with that.
I mean, do you really think it's necessary for all 3 of us to be there? If not, we could send one and the other 2, we just, we could hold the regular meeting and just not take on the critical issues, I guess.
Well, that's
Or
easier said than
controversy.
done. We just tabled
Or-
water rates, things like that. I would not want any 2 members to not be a part of any decisions on the board in regards to that.
You
know,
mean
it's up
as
to
far as
you.
the water rates, we just won't put it on for next week then?
Well, I mean, what business is important, what isn't? I don't know. I think it's all important business. I would rather just move our meeting one day so that 1, 2, or all 3 of us can attend the drive-in.
Commissioner, can we discuss that apart from this meeting and then
Yeah,
let the
but
people
the
know?
next time we discuss it would be Tuesday, and then we got to decide if someone getting in a car and driving Wednesday to go to Columbus, or making arrangements to ride down with, the economic people.
So what you're asking is that we move the meeting one day?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Can we move our regular meeting to Thursday then?
Yes.
That way we do free that day up, and then we can make a decision on who goes to
But
Columbus.
we are going to continue the workshop on Tuesday.
Yes,
You're making a motion, right?
yes.
Okay.
I second the motion.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes. Okay. So just to be clear, next Tuesday, we will hold a workshop here in this meeting room at 10:30 a.m. And then we will hold our next regular meeting Thursday, the 3rd, April 3rd
Correct.
at 10:30 a.m. Okay.
Okay, and also I've been
Yes.
receiving correspondences as we were up here, so I guess we'll address this too. There are concerns from some of the economic people in the county in regards to the water rates and the big project that we have coming up with the old RG Steel. We've got our sanitary engineers that are working right now on the Amazon project in Bezetta. We want to make sure we don't send bad messages out to the public. We will work through this issue together as a board. We're not going to let the water issue or whatever halt anything. And I just want to make sure or clarify that this isn't a standoff type of thing that should send any bad indicators to the people looking to develop here or come here. We're still going to continue on with every project we have. We're going to pay the bill one way or another. We're going to be in compliance with the ORC, this will not be a county and fiscal emergency for those economic teams that are looking to develop here or announce their upcoming projects that they have. So I'd kind of like a consensus somewhat that we're all on board that this is not going to hold anything up. We'll do everything we can to make sure we don't hold up any projects.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Yes.
Hi, Mr. Glenn, City of Niles. I don't know much about these rates, but I do know that my water is one charge and my sewer is double whatever my water is. And there's nothing I can do about it but pay it. I'm glad to see that some of these obsolete assets the county has, vehicles, can be scrapped without going through so much BS. I know from past that there was so many bureaucratic crap to go through just to scrap a car, but now I'm glad to see it's streamlined somewhat in the vehicles, and anything that's metal can get recycled. The same with land. I mean, the Ween building is gone, and that piece of property, I don't know if you guys own it, but sell it, sell any building, sell any asset you have that we can build this fund up, because like Mr. Malloy said, there was a kind of a little fight with Altium cells in the water. Water was held hostage for, who's going to sell it to them, who's going to deliver it. And with Amazon and with Kimberly Clark, there should be a definite plan and a definite rate for those commercials without hurting the people. I mean, everybody's going to pay the same, but some things you can't change, like Mr. Hernandez said, from the state mandates, pass it down, but let's try not to hurt the consumers too bad if you can. Thank you. I'd like
Thank you,
to
Mr.
also wish Miss Shara and Mrs. Yoder happy birthday.
Oh, it is
Today.
that's true. Yes. Happy birthday, ladies. Thank you, Mr. Glenn.
Hello. My name's Cheryl Tennant, 1061 Perkins Jones Road, Northeast Warren. On February 18th, I sent an email to Auditor Yoder concerning American Rescue Plan funds for 22, 23, 24, and 25. I wanted the revenue and the expenses. She indicated to me in an email that she doesn't take care of those. She's not the custodian of those records. And so she told me to contact you guys. So I sent emails to all of you, all of you and Miss Lisa. So she doesn't control the records either in her email. And she sent it over to Shara Taylor, I believe that's her name, and I haven't heard from her for over a month. Now, I know there's a lot of stuff going on in your offices, and I actually thought, well, I'll give her 2 weeks and then 3 weeks, and now it's been a month. So who is the keeper of those records?
Chair would be the one that's in compliance with us, and we'll make sure you get that. That's something, it is posted online. If you go to our commissioner's website, every dollar we brought in, every dollar we spent is already posted on there publicly, and that you can look it up yourself. But if you want hard copies, we can make a copy for you and get it to you, no problem.
I prefer not to have a spreadsheet. I want a copy of the original papers.
That's a file this big of every request that came in with documentation. That would be Mr. Masaki, who's retired, and we have to figure out what and where that went.
All right, I appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tennant.
It's 5 cents a page, commissioners, also.
Oh,
It's 5 cents a page, just letting you know.
We can get that for you. Mr. Tedrow,
Jason Tedrow, Hubbard Township.
since you're here, let me hit you first. Last time you were here, you were gonna go back, you'd asked us for 300,000 for Colberg Dam.
Yep.
And you were negotiating with the owners and getting back with us on what to do. It's been a year. We're getting a whole bunch of questions about what's going on with the dam that we can't answer. Do you have any information on that yet
Yes.
as far as,
Right now, we're waiting on the FEMA funds.
okay?
Actually, those have been put on hold from the Trump administration, currently all federal funding. Actually recently had some sit downs with some other people. We're looking at some other potential ways to attack this and stuff like that. There may be a purchase agreement that may come into play here shortly. I have some conversations I have to sit down and continue to have.
So
with
it's
the
still
owners.
alive. They're meeting with the owners. We were waiting for a letter, a memorandum or something from them before we can move further.
Hopefully, we may be getting a purchase order. It may be a long-term purchase order, but it will show that the property will be being purchased so that we can potentially leverage that to get some additional funding resources.
But as of right now, we're out of it. As far
Yeah,
as the
yeah.
original request, we were never notified of that
Yeah.
we've had it set aside in a fund, and that's something that if we could free that up, that'll help
Yeah.
the county
No, 100%.
with our budgeting.
I think going back and forth with the attorney that you guys had over that and stuff like that, it seems like she felt it was a little bit of a stretch, so we went in full force with the FEMA funding side of things. We are one of the projects that was qualifying project, so they did say tentatively those monies are kind of set aside for that. They have to go through final approval with FEMA, but that process is on hold right now, and as soon as we find out, that first 300,000 is the major funding hurdle for us. Once we get through that, I think we have a real positive chance to get it done.
Okay.
So I had a statement in regards to some recent revelations concerning Commissioner Hernandez. So you have repeatedly lied to residents of Hubbard Township for years and have already started your term off as commissioner, repeatedly lying to all the residents of Trumbull County. Now, on top of that, you have two deputies standing here that have been pulled from their responsibilities to stand here and protect you from the constituents that you may have deceived. You have lied and concealed illegal activity in our community while continuing to profit from it and then allowed it to reopen knowing what was transpiring on that property, remaining complicit in the activity going on there. Your repeated lies and covering for that criminal activity only aided and abetted its ability to continue. My hope is that when Commissioner Malloy came out and assisted you in that defense, it was due to your deception of him as well. Because that business was not operating in our community for 14 years. I believe you should resign your position at this point, not only for the shame that you have brought our community, your family, and yourself, but also for the residents of Trumbull County and the shame you brought to this board. Your ability to continue to lie and profit from sex trafficking and quite likely human trafficking is disgusting, and it should be dealt with appropriately.
Thank you for your comments. Next.
My name's Jari Karttunen. I served on the first United States Border Search Trauma and Rescue Unit, which is now a national unit. And my question is, or petition is, if you're willing, to maybe gain access to a portion of Ravenna Arsenal that for our young innovators to develop and test search technology. And that includes help from a UTV company in Brunswick that would loan us their UTVs for testing. And those are the utility task vehicles, you know, side by side. So with that effort in mind, Major General Harris a couple years ago denied a rally proposal for testing these vehicles in Ravenna. However, since this portion, the tactical airfield area in the eastern section of the arsenal, where we used to jump as reservist parachutists, that area would be ideal for testing in a closed, what we call mitigate tactical and accidental risks for any participants. And we seek your support in that. And as you go down to the Columbus or wherever, we ask you to support that. And also, I forgot to say, thank you, Commissioner Malloy, for visiting Bristolville, coming up north for us. So it's great. And so lastly, these young people can then develop viable products for future production in our area. And we can get them up to a technical readiness level of 7, meaning test these items in a relevant operational environment, field environment. Get them out of the schools and get them out there with us and the companies that, that will help us. That's all I have, except I seek your approval or support for this type of effort.
Sir, what I would ask is if you put something in writing to us, because
Yeah.
even
Oh, sure.
the name of the group, I do know that portion you're talking about, I believe is either owned, leased, or run by Ohio National Guard.
Absolutely.
So that's a state issue, would be a mandate to have to come down from the governor's office to allow that
Yes.
and through his department. But as far as a letter of support or something like that, yeah, I know they're pretty touchy on who does what out there, but they have allowed hunting. They have allowed some sportsman clubs in there for an operation of such what you're doing. I wouldn't think that that's unreasonable, but we would need some request in writing from
Lieutenant
you.
Colonel Sean Robinson runs the camp over there. He's in support. However, the folks in the military property officer, for example, they get shaky when they talk with Major General Harris. I would think the civil argument from our community would have some benefit.
Okay.
That's all
Thank
I
you.
have. Thank you very much.
We
Yeah,
appreciate
if you want to
it.
get that to the clerks, you'll get it to me, and then we'll if we have it by next week, I'll
We'll have the
work on it
supporting
next week.
documents for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next.
James Panalone, Howland Township. I have two quick items. Commissioner Malloy, in response to your discussion here just a few minutes ago about making sure the projects go through, I did want to get a follow-up on the ODOT project in Howland, of which the county owes a portion of money. It was originally $439,000. I believe ODOT has actually helped out and reduced that by about $200,000. And payment of that bill is very important. It is holding up that entire project. The expansion of Howland Corners, which was put in conjunction with the DDI, Howland Wilson closure. So do we have a status report on that?
We did meet. The gentleman from ODOT was here at a workshop about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
Chad Root.
Yep,
from
and
ODOT.
they moved it down. We had made some additional requests from them on funding. We turned it over to our prosecutor, and I've not been advised anything. Bill Danza, do you have any more on that since that meeting we had with ODOT?
Bill Danso, Prosecutor's Office. No, there was nothing referred to our office on that. That was back in the hands of the sanitary engineer and the Board of Commissioners in terms of whether or not the board felt comfortable paying. The last correspondence from our office and the last talk that we had at that meeting was simply that the folks at the sanitary engineer's office were exploring whether there was an option to maybe not pay that, but in terms of past history, I know there was one that I've been told was not paid over the years, but traditionally those have been paid even under these permits like it was for the diverging diamond. So there is no holdup necessarily on the prosecutor's office end here. It's the question of, do the commissioners want to pay it in accordance with what's kind of mostly been done traditionally, or do the commissioners want to try to work with the folks at the sanitary engineer's office to see if they have some sort of challenge they can make to ODOT that they want to make, that you guys would want to make to ODOT on that. That's
But
really more
we'll
of
need
a,
your input too, because if we say no, you're going to represent us in that, right?
well, my guess would be that if you guys want to challenge it, that we could talk about maybe the folks at at least the one attorney at the sanitary engineer's office, perhaps filing that and representing the commissioners on that. But that would be something that, I think the last question that came to me at the public discussion of this last time was whether legally you were able to pay it. And I believe, yes, I believe legally there's not going to be an audit finding or an illegal act by paying this. But is there a legal defense to paying it where you don't have to? That's a question of how far you want to pursue that in light of the materials that you guys have been given. I'm not sure what your position is on that.
Yeah, my only concern, well, commissioners, my only concern, where do you get the money? We've already went through a real strong budget.
Well, I'm more
Gotcha.
concerned with, it started with one project with the Virgin Diamond, it moved down, and now it's more things added on to us. So we really had no I don't know if we had an input in it, if we could say no, if we had to do it. I don't know. That's above my pay grade. That's why we got to reply on, or
Well, I did, the
consult with the
attorney
lawyers.
for the sanitary district did say that if the commissioners, that he thought, the commissioners stood a good chance to fight it, but, we realize it's holding up the project, so we're gonna have to figure something out.
It's holding up economic
Yeah,
development. And we
right.
just talked about the projects that are coming to this county.
Right.
And they would not be a hindrance, but it is. I mean, there's a lot of commitment on this from Howland Township, ODOT. And once again, they went from 439,000 down to, they took $200,000 off of that. That's a pretty good bargain at this point in time. But I'm concerned about it. And this is not just something that just happened. This has been in the works for several years. So it's not new. It's been out there. It's been discussed. They're familiar with it.
New to us though. New to us as of 3
Yes,
weeks
speaking of
ago.
Your sanitary engineer, he should be keeping you abreast of this information as it progresses. So I guess that would be a department head meeting that you would have.
Can we get a comment?
Mr. Chairman, I have a comment. First of all, I remember that meeting and the executive director from Eastgate was here. And I believe he stated that he's never heard of a county winning the case, that it's going to be the county's responsibility to come up with what's 200,000. As I sit here, I know how important that project is, not only to Howland, but, to the whole county, moving traffic. I don't view it any different than what we just passed $94,000 to do on Mines Road. I think Howland Corners, this part is equally as important, maybe even more important, because there's a lot of traffic there. I think we have to find the money somewhere. And if I remember what the state said, that they would loan us the money at 0% interest. I thought,
State or Eastgate?
yeah, well, someone said it would be 0%.
Eastgate does have programs out there that
Right.
are 0% interest, if that's what you're referring to. I wasn't there at that meeting, but I know that they do have 0% revolving loans there available. But, ODOT is very clear that this can be holding the project up. We've got a lot of time and planning and engineering on this.
I understand that.
To have a $200,000 reduction and still question the need for payment of it is a little concerning to us.
What's the cost of the whole project? Do you recall?
I don't know offhand the whole project. I know that the water line specifically
Okay.
project was 439,000.
Yeah.
So they were ahead of plan on some finances and were able to look at what reductions they did have and apply that to that and to get $200,000 lower. So you're talking about $239,000.
Commissioners, I just think that, we need to move forward. We need to find the resources, the funding. I know that there's been question about, fighting this, not thinking that it's our issue, but we are holding up a project. It is holding up economic development. And, I would definitely be for looking for where we're going to, pull these monies to satisfy this. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Next. Okay.
Let's put that at the top of the agenda for Tuesday. And call in anyone we need to talk about that, to make a decision
Okay.
on where we're gonna get the money.
That on the agenda for next Tuesday?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Melissa Wade, Hubbard, Ohio. I
A
just
little
wanted-
bit closer to the mic, man, please.
Yes, Melissa Wade, Hubbard, Ohio. I just wanted to kind of second what Jason Tedrow spoke about. The body cam footage was pretty clear, that you were told very clearly what was going on in that building. And you were obviously aiding and abetting criminal activity, and I don't think that that is the right behavior for somebody in your position. That's all I have to say.
Thank you for your comments. Next. No one? Commissioners, I need a motion.
Okay, make a motion to adjourn.
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Bernard,
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.